that note, on the hot seat today, Lucidity, a cloud storage platform which helps businesses keep cloud storage neat, tidy and cost efficient, has raised $5.3 million rupees in seed funding led by Alphawave Investments. Other investors that participated in this round include BNext, Bloom Ventures, Bold Capital and New Ventures, to name a few. Now, to discuss the company's fund allocation plans and growth story is Nitin Bhadauria, the co-founder of Lucidity. Nitin, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Like I said, you're an AI-enabled software for cloud storage. So take us through how it works and how are you making business more efficient for your clients?
All right. Thanks, Arundathi, first of all, for having me here. As you rightly mentioned, Lucidity is an AI-enabled layer on top of your cloud storage, which is your AWS, Azure, and GCP of the world, which makes your cloud storage cheaper, faster, and better. Now, these are not just subjective metrics. The moment, let's say, if any of a customer deploy Lucidity on top of their cloud storage, it reduces the cost by up to 70%, ensures you never have a downtime, even in peak hours, and deliver all of these capabilities at a click of a button, right? Now, to take you back how the concept is, and this is a very innovative concept which you have built. So let me relate it with a very live example which you can relate to. So if you buy a laptop, right? You probably buy a 512 GB disk along with that, and you have paid for it. You might just have 100 GB data in that. So you're actually wasting 60 to 70% of the cost, but unfortunately you can't do anything about it, right? You've already paid for it. But in cloud, this is very much possible. Like, you can remove the disk, use it as depending on the usage. However, to do that, it's very technically challenging. Imagine there is a live disk which is serving traffic. How do you shrink it? How do you increase it, right? It might lead to performance loss. And that's where the organizations worldwide were wasting significant money in over-provisioning, which is what Lucidity as a layer has solved. We are building a first product which has built the capability to shrink and expand the disk as and when required. So hence, now you don't need to pay for 70% of your cost, which is getting wasted.
Right. And we will discuss We will discuss your products in detail as well, but you've raised $5 million, so where's the money going to go? Will most of it go into new tech innovation?
So like you mentioned, it's a deep tech product, so 60 to 70% of the money will be going in product development, because we need to have great engineers who can build this tech. The rest 30 to 40% would be going in expansion in a different geography. So we just opened our Abu Dhabi office,
right,
and we opened our New York office. So we are hiring a sales team there to expand globally.
All right. And if you could quickly take us through the kind of products you have on offer, what is the new kind of tech that you're also looking at going into the future? What's the potential?
So we want to be an expert in storage, cloud storage, right? So we are building a layer which makes your storage faster, better, cheaper. We have just released the first module which makes it cheaper without any downtime. And in the next 2-3 years, you will see a lot of offerings coming in which are making you faster and more reliant, but only restricted to cloud storage.
All right. So you're also going to use the funds, like you said, to fuel your expansion plans. And you said you've just opened up your offices in Abu Dhabi and New York. What are the other markets you're eyeing, and how soon are you going to enter these newer markets as well?
Arundathi, I think we are still very early stage. I think our 70 to 80% of focus is on US market. That's the biggest market we want to crack in. At initial stage, we just want to focus on that. Probably in next to 2024, it's where we'll start exploring other markets. But I think US is big enough for us to expand first.
So right now your focus is on the US. So tell me, what are the kind of revenues you're currently seeing, and where do you plan to end this year with also US being your main market? What's the revenue mix going to be like?
All right. Thanks for asking this. So we took almost 1 year last year to build this product, and we went live with this product this March. And last 6 months, we have seen a phenomenal traction. A lot of Fortune 500 companies we are working with right now, dozen Fortune 500 companies in US who are using, as we speak, our product to make the cloud most efficient. We will continue to work with them potentially next 3-4 months so that we stabilize the software. We make sure that we deliver the value. We feel that next year is going to be the biggest year where we're going to expand. And the one metric which we end up tracking is not the revenue. It's basically how much data we are managing for customers.
Right.
And we hope by the end of next year, we end up probably with almost 10 to 20 petabyte of data managed for customers.
All right. Okay. So your customers, like you said, are typically enterprise and upper mid-market companies that are cloud transient or in the process of shifting their data from on-premise servers to the cloud. So take us through the kind of clients you have on board, and you're also hoping for a wider release soon. What's the plan on that front?
Right. So just to clarify, our solution actually can be used by a startup who just started their journey in cloud to a big Fortune 500 company who have been in cloud from last 10 years. However, what you're seeing is the upper mid-market enterprise are taking our product by storm because they have the biggest significant pain. Now, going forward, we want to focus with them. Right now, as I said, we are working with one Fortune 500 company, retail tech, and then other data management space. We'll be able to disclose their names probably in a couple of months when we are making a bigger GA launch. This January onwards, 2023, where you will find our software now widely available across the world. Right now, we'll keep it for next 3-4 months with private launch with those selective design partners only.
All right, Nitin. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thanks, Arundathi, for having me here. Thank you.
All right, and some other news that's coming in. The Finance Ministry is going to set up an expert committee to address regulatory issues with regards to venture capital and private equity investments. Now, this 6-member expert committee is going to be headed by former SEBI chief M. Damodaran. The committee has to submit its report in 3 months. The announcement, remember, was made during the speech of the budget speech in FY23 in a bid to remove any friction faced by such players in making investments in India. Now, top venture capital and private equity players who are big investors in startups had met Prime Minister Modi and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the run-up to the budget to smoothen the process of investing in India.
And with that, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, organic dairy enterprise Akshayakalpa Organic has raised $15 million in a Series B round. How does the company plan to use the funds? What's the growth outlook? We put the company's co-founder and its investor Rainmatter on the hot seat to find out more. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Now, organic dairy enterprise Akshayakalpa Organic has raised $15 million in Series B funding from new and existing investors. British international investment, Rainmatter Foundation, and some of its existing investors, including Venture Dairy, have backed the company in this round. Now, prior to this, it had raised a Series A funding from Low Capital and Venture Dairy in the month of July in 2019. Akshayakalpa plans to aggressively invest in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad markets, as well as expand into new geographies, which include Pune, Mumbai, and others. To talk about the company's future growth plans, its strategy, joining us now is Shashi Kumar, the co-founder and CEO of Akshayakalpa Organic, and Samir Sisodiya, who's the CEO of Rainmatter Foundation, an investor in the company. Sashi and Samir, both of you, thank you very much for being with us here today. Let me start with you, Sashi. First, with this $15 million of funding that you've raised, what is the valuation of the company? How do you propose to use these proceeds? Give us your plans.
Thanks very much for this taking us on the call. See, from an expansion point of view, we are looking at seriously expanding our Hyderabad market. We are already present in the Hyderabad market. We want to make substantial investments there. And also Chennai market, we want to expand. And double down on what we do in Bangalore right now. Bangalore is our home market, and we do substantial revenues. Do come from there. Okay, and other than that, we are looking at expanding into Pune and Mumbai and Kochi markets, facing mostly south of India and also some tier 2 cities. Investments also would go on strengthening our Chennai cluster. We started work on Chennai cluster in August 2019. It has taken around close to 3 years for us to get the cluster organic certified. And we are starting our work on Hyderabad cluster this month or coming month. And also Pune production clusters will be starting. So most of the investments would go into expanding new markets, strengthening the existing markets, and also strengthening our production clusters around 3 cities. That is Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune, Mumbai.
And Sashi,
so that's where right now.
Sashi, what is the company now valued at with this latest round of fundraising?
So we have raised $15 million, diluting around 32% in the company.
Samir, let me bring you in. Why this particular investment? What kind of opportunity do you see in this space?
Hi, thanks for having me on this. So as a foundation, we are very focused on climate as a problem. We are approaching this both through grant making as well as investments. What Akshayakalpa represents in this puzzle is a very important piece because we believe that climate smart entrepreneurship that builds resilience in local entrepreneurship, local food systems, local asset creation in terms of independence in water management at the farm, soil management at the farm. These are very critical components of businesses in days going ahead. So we believe this is a great example of how you can build a very strong business, a very strong brand, while actually being climate positive. So it was a fairly straightforward decision to get involved in Akshayakalpa for us.
Well, Sashi, so, what do you have on offer? In the last 5 years, you've had a compounded growth rate of 60% plus. What lies ahead in terms of both revenue and profitability? Could you give us some projections for the near term?
See, what we are really looking at is build 1,000 crore top line business in next 5 years. That's what we are looking at. Okay, and this can be done with a cumulative growth of around 60% CAGR. We have demonstrated already it is possible. That is on the top line growth. And in terms of this year, we are looking at, annual run rate of right now around 200 crores. That's what we will focus and deliver this year.
All right. Samir, let me quickly bring you back in then. While there is plenty of opportunity in this segment as a whole, but what we do have is plenty of competition. There is the deep-pocketed conventional players. There are startups that are also making their mark in the space. So, what really differentiates this company from the rest of the pack?
I think what we are seeing in terms of climate change is what differentiates Akshayakalpa and Shashi from most entrepreneurs. It's not just what you see at the front end at the level of the dairy brand itself, but it's what's going on at the back end in terms of the deep relationships at the farm, the deep expertise of how farm management happens, how water management happens, the whole extension support network. These will stand in good stead. I think we need more entrepreneurs who are climate smart, and any business that is not climate smart today is going to very likely face a very, very, very tough time in the years ahead.
So, Sashi, why not take the product, pan-India? I see from the expansion plans that you had detailed, you're mostly listing out cities in the southern region. What about northern parts of India? Are you looking at, introducing your products there as well anytime soon?
So I think the strategy, as Samir mentioned, we would like to set up production clusters where the market is, rather than producing from one area and hauling throughout India. So if at all we are going to north of India, for example, if you are doing a Gurgaon or a national capital region, we will set up a production cluster in and around that area, rather than just take this milk into north of India. That doesn't really work in terms of logistics, transportation, the miles the milk takes, that is going to be very critical. So in short, we would like to focus production clusters where the market exists. For example, Bangalore, we have got a production cluster. Chennai, we are already there. In Hyderabad, we are setting up. Pune and Mumbai, we are setting it up. Around Kochi, we are setting it up. So we would like to really expand in a very similar way. Where the market is there, we will set up the production systems.
All right. On that note, Samir and Sashi, both of you, we wish you all the very best and thank you for your time here on Startup Street today.
Thanks
for having me.
And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Startup Street. From Shruti, Ritu and me, many thanks for watching.